Brooklyn has signed Kevin Durant to a 4-year extension, as we heard and was reported previously. Nets general manager Sean Marks said Wednesday he's, quote, very confident that both James Harden and Kyrie Irving will be signed, sealed, and delivered before training camp starts. So, Ramona, the Nets have already given the bag to KD, but are you confident Kyrie and Harden will also sign their extension?
Yeah, I'm confident. I mean, initially, the impression I had was that all three of these guys were going to sign their extensions at the same time. There was going to be more of a show that all three of them were teaming up and signing extensions at the same time. But, you know, summertime, people get busy. Kyrie left Rock Nation. He's got to sort out his representation. James has been traveling around Europe. I mean, it just seems like there's been other things going on with both Kyrie and with James.
He was with the baby, I believe, in Europe. There was a big picture that circulated around the internet with that. But Jackie, how about you? How do you feel about their potentials of signing the extension with Brooklyn?
Well, Sean Marks is a very, very careful man. He's been around the league a long time, obviously done a fantastic job in Brooklyn. There's no way on earth he would even suggest this if it wasn't going to happen. And because what we know of Kyrie, people projecting things on behalf of him, if there was even an inkling of a doubt, Sean Marks never would have said this. So I expect them all back. If you're James Harden, why would you even think twice about this? I would have signed it 4 weeks ago or whenever I was eligible. So yeah, this will get done.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And the reality is this: they've teamed up for a reason. So why wouldn't you sign the extension? I mean, logic just says you guys made all this happen. You want it to come together. You see it through, and you give yourself a window to potentially reach your goal, which is to win a championship or maybe even multiple championships.
There's not a huge sense of urgency, though. Both those guys are under contract for a while, so there's not it doesn't have to get done right now. My training camp would be better, though.
Okay. Well, there was a sense.
Just remember, it wasn't Harden, Durant, and Kyrie. It was Kyrie, Durant, and DeAndre Jordan. Harden joined the party late, so he wasn't part of that original pact.
Yeah, no doubt. So, speaking of timeliness and contracts, well, with Dennis Schroder, it didn't go so great. He bet on himself, and he lost. Schroder spent 1 season in Los Angeles with the Lakers, turned down a 4-year, $84 million offer from Los Angeles in March to instead test free agency. Now, he's headed to Boston on a 1-year deal for $5.9 million, which is the taxpayer mid-level exception. So, Jackie, will Dennis Schroder's free agency gamble serve as a cautionary tale for players moving forward?
So you would think it would, except for my experience with these players is they all have great positive self-talk. They all believe in themselves. That most of them are saying, well, that was him, man. That's not me. So I don't really think this will change any player's mind if he really believes in himself. And it's usually the agents that are trying to guide you through this process. So Dennis Schroder, look, this was a miscalculation on his part. A lot of things went awry. I will say this on terms of the Celtics end of it. If you said to me the Celtics signed Schroder to a 4-year, $70 million contract, I'd say that's a huge mistake. A 1-year, $5.9 million contract for a team that's super thin at the point? Are you kidding me? This fell right in their lap. This is maybe one of the best signings of the summer in terms of value for price.
Brad Stevens, Executive of the Year already. Look at that. He just got the job, and he's already headed that direction. Ramona, you've got some stuff on this here.
Well, look, with the Dennis Schroder story is he comes to the Lakers. They went out and traded for him. Remember, they traded a first-round pick and Danny Green for Dennis Schroder. They showed they wanted him. And the first thing he did in joining a championship team is say, I want to start. Wasn't a good start to get off it wasn't a good start to his Laker tenure. I mean, the Lakers had just won a championship, so to come in and say, I want to start when you haven't done anything in training camp or earned anything, that was a big proclamation. I think that was the start of when they realized this may not work out very well. And his best years in the NBA have been as a six-man. That year in Oklahoma City where he finished second in the six-man of the year voting, that's what made the Lakers want to go trade for him. They believed in him. They wanted him to do more. They gave him that latitude, said, okay, the starting's important to you, then we're going to try to make that work. But not only did they go out and give him that offer that made him a really big offer, after they traded for Russell Westbrook, my understanding is they went and circled back around to him and talked with him about a shorter-term deal, 1 year, sort of a softer offer for more money than he got with the Celtics, and he wasn't interested in that either. So it wasn't just the $84 million contract that extension he turned down during the year. There was a circling back with him afterwards. Ends up in Boston. Maybe that'll be a better fit, Jackie, because I think he has a bigger role there in Boston where he can rebuild his value.
That's it. It's just 1 year, right? So he has a chance to rebuild his value, and he has to be he has to do everything they ask of him so that people begin to look at him again as a guy that can be a good teammate and a guy that can fit on any team. So this is a win-win for the Celtics and Schroder in my mind.
Well, listen, all I can say is this, all right? The money part, we've seen the reported stuff that he was in shock or whatnot. Look, I don't know if he's married or not, but Mrs. Sedano would have me sleeping out on the curb, okay, if I passed on $84 million. That's all I'm going to say. So if the bosses want to offer me $84 million, I will gladly take it. Or any team, whoever, anyone want to offer me that kind of money.
A big rookie contract, so he's made some money at least.
All right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.